Welcome everybody to the CCA Circuit Finals. I am DRF joined by Cygnus, and we are bringing you day number 1 of the CCA Circuit Season 2 Finals. 16 teams in each division, 5 divisions, 1 champion in every division. Cygnus, this has been a long time coming. This whole semester has culminated to this moment.
Yeah, it really doesn't get more exciting than this. There's been so much build-up to this event, and seeing it finally unfold on the big stage here, words cannot describe the level of excitement I'm feeling right now, and I'm just ready to get things going here.
Certainly. So, let's briefly talk about this format for today. We have a modified Swiss, which basically means, early elimination Swiss, as others like to call it. So all that means is that the objective is simple and straightforward. You either win 3 sets and move on to day 2, or you lose 3 sets and you are eliminated. By the end of today, we will have played 5 rounds of Swiss and have found our top 8 teams to advance to day 2 for a double elimination bracket. So we're going to be starting here round 1. All teams are 0-0. It's going to be a best of 3. And Cygnus, we have our first matchup ready to roll.
Yes, we will be seeing Halley against UCSD Esports Gold in a very exciting Division 1 matchup between 2 long-standing titans of the CCA here.
And they're going to get things kicked off with some tower control on Undertow. This is a map mode that we have seen plenty of this season. Let's dive on in and take a look at these compositions.
Yeah, right away, we're seeing... Oh, well, never mind. We have a DC right away here in Game 1, actually.
Oh! Cygnus, hold my hand, please. Please, hold my hand. I need some emotional support. Because we are off to a hot start today. Oh.
If there's ever a Splatoon moment, that's it right there.
I know, we hyped up, everything perfectly leading into the start of game number 1 of our finals, and well, thanks Nintendo.
Yep, they're just giving us more time to build up the excitement here.
Yeah, I guess Nintendo decided that we didn't hype up this moment enough. So, I guess we'll try this again. Game number 1 underway. Let's dive on in. Cygnus, let's take a look at these compositions.
Yeah, right away, I find it really interesting seeing the Crab Tank Heavy Edit Splatling being run alongside the NZAP on the side of Halley here, and we are seeing UCSD Esports Gold running the Big Bubbler, a really good special for tower control on their side. But right away, UCSD Esports wins the first fight, takes 3 down. That's a delayed wipe already at checkpoint 1 and pushing up further ahead. Big early advantage here for UCSD.
Oh, and that bubble is going to be absolutely huge for them to hold this position. Nerdy Adam in a nice spot here, getting a little aggressive. Might have overextended just a bit, but totally fine as Blaster's going to be there to bring up the anchor in that aggressive positioning. Wame going to be able to break through that tower alongside Lav, bringing in some good support here with the pencil. And they still continue to push. Cygnus, they might be able to knock this one out.
Yeah, this is a great start, especially as Blaster is able to take out that Crab Tank with a nasty flank and is running more chaos, gets another pick as well, and gets the bubble up before going down. And you were right, DRF. We do see that knockout in Game 1. We may have had a bit of a false start, but UCSD Esports Gold made sure we still got off to a fast start here in Game 1.
I mean, good morning, UCSD Esports Gold. I know that in the past that especially early on, UCSD has been a bit of a slow to start team because they're on the West Coast, and it's definitely not a secret that college students tend to be a little bit better later in the day with just everything in general. So I am really impressed with the type of start that UCSD Esports Gold has put out here today. So I mean, it's simply game number one, but they made a statement.
Yeah, yeah. As you said, DR, they got great uses out of that big bubble. We had Blaster with that key flank, taking out the crab tank and getting another down while the team was supporting the push. They won that crucial first fight, especially with the first checkpoints being so close on this map. Winning that first fight so decisively, immediately forcing Halley into a three-down situation, and they were able to push through checkpoint 1 and snowballs very fast there.
Yeah, they truly did. And you know, as we look towards the upcoming maps, Rainmaker Museum was the next one on deck there. Also, I guess very briefly, you'll have seen that it says Game 3, Game 4, Game 5. That is not a bug per se. It is actually by design because, fun fact for everybody, especially with, you know, all tournament platforms, when you run Swiss, you can't actually alter the amount of games to be played in each round of Swiss. So that's your fun fact. So what we did in order to make round 1 into a best of 3 is we made game 1 and game 2 Turf War Lemuria Hub. So that way it's so repulsive that the teams will look at it and say, surely this is not correct. And they will make sure that they just skip the first 2 games, you know, hand 1 win to either team, and from there they'll be able to jump into game 3 with the actual start of the map list. But speaking of actually starting the map, let's jump into game number 2, Cygnus. It is Rainmaker Museum, as we had mentioned.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit of a switch from Halley. They're turning the Octo shot into the Glamour Splatter shot with the Burst Bomb and Kraken set. I guess using the Kraken to help with those Rainmaker pushes, not a bad idea at all. Also seeing a bit of a change in UCSD's comp as they're turning the Zinc Mini Splatling into a vanilla into the vanilla Mini Splatling with the Trizuka coming in. And we're seeing this time it's Halley getting forcing their opponents to go 3 down this time, a reverse of game number 1, and Halley are the ones taking the first push, though. Will they be able to survive the Ultra Stamp? Yes, they are, as Blaster goes down to the Rainmaker shot before Quetzalcoatl will ultimately go down before the first checkpoint, but Halley is still maintaining control. They got that pop of the Rainmaker, and they're pushing it up. There's the checkpoint right there, and they get another pick for good measure, pushing up with that Trizuka DRF.
And Trizuka's not going to be able to find any value there, but they do push that Rainmaker down to 45 remaining. 2 members down on the side of Halley now. The remaining 2 are going to have to back on up just to try to hold this position, but no, they're going to go ahead and concede the plat for now. So 45 remaining is where this opening push will stall, but it's a pretty solid push nonetheless in the opening minute of this game.
Yeah, definitely. Getting extra numbers down past that first checkpoint is really important in Rainmaker here in Splatoon 3, as we're seeing the counter push coming from UCSD Esports Gold. Blaster with quite the impressive double there. There, UCSD has Rainmaker. Blaster is able to get another one down as UCSD pushes through the checkpoint. They actually take the lead with that hammer leading the way, along with the Killer Whale. They do go down, but it's at 38, and they're still maybe able to contest this on this platform. They're having jumps coming in as well.
A good lead swap there, and they're going to aim for a little bit more. Nerdy Adam with a nice movement there to be able to push that the extra 6 points. They're trying to hold on to this position now, but no, it looks like Wame is going to be pushed all the way back, and that should be an effective wipe. So this push stalls for now. 3 members down on the side of UCSD. Halley going to look to try to capitalize as quickly as possible. They are back in position on flat. Kraken is out. Rainmaker looking for some chip damage. They are able to find the lead. No!
Oh my goodness, 1 point short.
I think they had that right at 32, and now it is a battle for the pop. If Halley can get this pop, they should be able to find the lead as well. UCSD putting all of
just
their
gotta
eggs
rush
in
in
this
with it.
basket to try to pop this. They're gonna have to try to
Oh my goodness.
really pop it or concede this and get the pick as quick as possible. But it's Halley who concedes. Oh, I thought they had that for sure, Cygnus.
Oh my goodness. That battle for the pop was one of the craziest Rainmaker sequences I've seen in a long time, as Nerdy Adam is gonna bring it over in the Rainmaker free zone here, waiting for their team to get some picks, instead getting taken down by Sambuse here as Halley is going to try to reset. They have 3 specials at the ready and the Rainmaker, but Uame will get a big pick with the Slaughter here. Will it be enough? Uame still coming around, gets another one down before going down to the Crab Tank, as Halley has the Rainmaker on the spinner in mid, trying to look to get it back into that platform.
Oh, and Nerdy Adam perfectly baiting that. Nerdy Adam directed their attention to behind them, and finally they said, Nerdy Adam, go away. It's fine. You could have our plat. And they turned around to focus on the push, and that's when Nerdy Adam strikes to be able to stop that push. And now this center platform rotating away from the angle that Halley needed to be able to get this push going. The Rainmaker will reset. Under a minute to play now, and this should be the push that defines it all. 2 down on the side of UCSD. It looks like they're going to go for the win right here with the lead, and they find it! Huge out of Halley.
Yeah, they did a great job using the Kraken as a bodyguard for the Rainmaker, just letting it get forward just enough to get a slim lead. Now it's going to come down to what Halley can do on defense against UCSD's counter push here, as both teams are operating at full strength. We're seeing the Trizuka coming out on their side, not able to find the Rainmaker. It's Uame still hanging with it, but no, they go down to and Awesome on the heavy, and it's Splatling who's contesting the pop just enough to secure game 2 for Halley. We are going to a game 3 here.
Wow. What a game that was, Cygnus. That was absolutely bonkers from start to finish. We had some clutch moments on both sides, and ultimately it was Halley who was able to take advantage of the number situation in their favor. Despite missing the opportunity with the pop earlier in that game, they still found a way.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, both teams with a lot of key moments here. We had UCSD with their glorious counter push led by Blaster, as we're seeing here on the replay, and Halley using the Kraken to force their lead. We had the battle on UCSD's plat for control of the pop, which UCSD ultimately won in defense before Halley was able to get another push later on. But really, both teams just giving it their all in this, as expected, and for this match being played on the big stage here, Circuit Finals, this modified Swiss format, making it so every game and match counts so much more. The stakes are high here, and these two teams clearly know it, as they are bringing out their best performance here.
They certainly are bringing out their best performance, and they put on a show in this game alone. So, I don't know. I think we got our money's worth already, because I have not seen a Rainmaker Museum game quite like that since, like, last year's Riptide.
Yeah. Yeah, I know opinion towards Rainmaker has not necessarily been the kindest lately, but this match showed why it could still be a really fun and exciting game mode in this game. I love that match from start to finish, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these two teams are going to bring in our game number 3 on Clamblitz, Barnacle, and Dime. Well
said, Cygnus. Clamblitz, Barnacle, and Dime is on deck, and this is one where, given this, I guess, last game, I was gonna say first game, but because it really felt like the first game went so fast. How this last game went, my hopes are now sky high for Barnacle Clams, and we've seen this one can go back and forth, but it can also be a pretty strong avalanche too. So it's going to be a matter of which team can control those key points, particularly the stacks. That is going to be so crucial for... Oh, yep, wait, what? Okay. It sounds like we had an extra spectator in the lobby that was not supposed to be there. I think maybe somebody might have been trying to do a substitution, so they just didn't get out in time. So we'll give the teams a sec to sort that one out. But let's turn our focus to leading up to this circuit finals. Halley, UCSD Esports Gold, two teams that have had strong performances here and there, but Cygnus, these two teams were primarily dominant in the first split of the circuit.
Yes, Halley in particular, they were the winners of Qualifier 3, I believe it was, putting up a really strong performance, and I think, was it PSU Blue that they took down? Correct me if I'm wrong, DRF?
Probably, because PSU Blue got like
so.
3 second places this season. So I would not be surprised if that was necessarily the case here. And UCSD coming in here, they qualified through Split 1, barely making the cut, and they, I believe their peak performance was either 3rd or 4th place. So
yeah.
They've been hovering around the top group, but haven't broken into any top 2s yet. So that's their goal today, is to be one of those 3-0 teams, to call their day early. But Cygnus, let's jump back in. It looks like a lot of the same, but a couple of minor adjustments once again.
Yes, the game 1 comms coming back out here with the actor shot and its strikes coming on Halley's side, and the Zinc mini splatling with that big bubble returning for UCSD Esports Gold, who takes an early advantage, and Nerdy Adam just sneaks in there and gets the early pop with their teammates following right up, trying to press the advantage. They do get another power clam in, getting the score down to 60 and a bit more of change. So that's 2 power clams and change already put in by UCSD Esports Gold on this first push. But as they're 3 down, they're gonna have to regroup now, and we'll see how Halley chooses to respond to this.
Halley has been really good at doing just that, responding so far. And they did a good job by immediately sending Sambuse up to this stack to be able to claim it and get their team in key position. Unfortunately, the follow-up just wasn't quite fast enough, as UCSD able to push them out and force them to retreat. That's going to be 2 down on the side of Halley now. So Blaster has been an absolute star today in these first couple of games. Gonna get shut down by that Carbon Roller, and now it's 3 down on the side of UCSD. Strikes coming out, gonna be pushing Lava around. 2 power clamps coming in to even the score. Just like that, Sambuse has enough to get the lead. They will do just that. Extra power clamp coming in for insurance, and they expand that lead.
Yeah, Brioche with a great jump there, getting that extra power clam in. That's a nice little sizable lead Halley has added on, and now it's UCSD's turn trying to respond. This game of push and pull between these two teams is continuing seemingly right where we left off from last game, but Halley is able to force another 3-down situation, trying to build momentum as Andawesome comes in and breaks the barrier now. But Halley, will they be able to get through that penalty? They have 1 point remaining on it, but they have more clips coming in to break through. They're 3 down, and that's a wipe by UCSD Esports Gold, able to stem the bleeding there. Halley got the push, but they weren't able to get that much in terms of score because they had to break through the sizable penalty they were dealing with.
Oh, Nerdy Adam getting aggressive fast in the response there. Able to find 1. If he found that second, that would have been the absolute tide turner, but ends up turning that into a trade. So it's going to be UCSD now who has control of the stack, but this crab is making it so difficult. The wall beautifully placed, really neutralizing that crab there. Uwame now on the stack, trying to find some positioning here. 2 members down on the side of Halley. Make that a 3rd. This is a bit of a stagger now. Lav with that power clamp, going to dive on in through the bubble, is going to get the pop of the barrier. But do UCSD have the follow-up? They have some, but isn't enough for the
my.
lead. They need a couple more. Nerdy Adam finds a couple of friendly drops here. The wall coming out, but his teammates are jumping in. Nerdy Adam gets the lead by himself. His teammates served as the bait. Arc Halley took it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, Arc Halley pushed up just a little bit far, trying to camp those jumps, and with that, Nerdy Adam was able to use both the distraction and the really well-placed splash wall to finish that push and get those last couple clams in needed for the slim 2-point lead as we're approaching the final minute left in this game. Now it's Arc Halley having to come up with their response once again, but Uame is throwing the strikes in as Blaster's holding the power clam, using that bubble really well to survive those strikes as Nerdy Adam jumps back in to give the team even more support, taking the cooler, setting up the splash wall, and forcing Arc Halley to respond to them instead of getting their own push started.
Brioche trying to extend themselves here, is able to help their teammate find two. If they could pick off Lav or Uame here, this should set up Arc Halley pretty nicely for an end game push. And the Zuka is out. They find one. Uame says, hey, I've seen this story before. We have to back out of this one. Nerdy Adam goes down. UCSD starting to find themselves in a slight stagger. It's not going to take much Cygnus for Arc Halley to take back this lead. It's going to take a 1+2. And if they can get their way into the basket, they should be able to win this with the crab, with the strikes. They're sneaking on in. Kensablov throws the power clam in. They need 2 to win this, but they can't find it. There it is. Arc Halley comes in the 11th hour to win set number 1. Wow.
Once again, we were talking about how Game 2 on Museum Rainmaker was such an exciting back and forth game. This follow-up did not disappoint at all. That push and pull between the two teams, pushing, setting up, counter push it, and in the end, it's Arc Halley setting up that final push, using their specials so well between the strikes and the crab tank, allowing Kensablad to get in with that power clam, and the follow-up of those last 2 clams, just stealing that game at the last second after it looked like UCSD had set things up going really well. And even before that, it was Brioche on that carbon roller who really set things up, starting picks with that push, especially that key shot with that Trizuka we saw earlier on.
Certainly, that was so crucial to the response push, and it's something that we had called out there. UCSD was in a good position, but Arc Halley, they were in actually the better position despite being down in the scoreboard, because UCSD, the main thing there is that they needed to not go down. That was the key thing. Do not go down. And it felt like UCSD just got a little eager. They, especially on that push where Nerdy Adam was able to get the lead, they threw 2 bodies there for Nerdy Adam to get the lead. And yes, it worked, but it was definitely a moment of, hey, this is some short-term gain. Is this going to hold itself? Is this something sustainable? And that was what I was particularly nervous about. I thought that UCSD made some great plays where they said, hey, last game what cost us is that we went 3 down. So they started playing just a little bit more conservative. They took themselves out of fights that just weren't looking to be advantageous. But the minute that they got that Arc Halley got the first pick, then the second pick, and then they found position, then they got the 3 down. Arc Halley is so good at creating momentum when they need it most.
Yeah, it felt kind of like they were like nickel and diming their way to that momentum almost. Just like taking a small fight here, a small fight there, and letting it all build up to when they can use all their specials and get that one really big push they need going for them.
Yeah, it was kind of a thing of beauty out of Arc Halley. So they take the set 2-1. They're going to be advancing to that 1-0 section. UCSD dropping down to 0-1, but not all is lost. So this is just round 1 of 5 rounds of Swiss that we will be taking a look at today. So, as a reminder, as with the modified Swiss graphic, it does take 3 sets to qualify for day number 2 and 3 losses to formally be eliminated from the circuit finals. So, both teams still have quite a ways to go. It's going to be the 1-0 teams facing each other, the 0-1 teams facing each other in round 2. Best of 3 once again. So, we still have a couple of games to go here in round 1. So I believe, Cygnus, we're going to go ahead and take just a few minutes to make sure that not anything has burnt down quite yet. The day is still early, so it'd be quite a shame if the things were already falling apart. So let's go ahead and, just get a pulse check on everything. We'll be right back, making sure that the circuit finals, you've got more action after this break.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right? Shape the mind, speeding up the pace, turning up the heat, where I need to be for the first time. I'm taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway and cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to Circuit Finals here at the CCA. Once again, I'm Cygnus, joined by DRF, and now we're bringing you another Div 1 match between Drexel Dragons Splatoon and Daybreak.
Yes, Drexel Dragons Splatoon. Oh, a team that has been around for quite some time now, has steadily made their way up the ranks in Division 1, and they are back in the circuit finals. Daybreak joining us as well from UT Austin. So Daybreak's been another team that they've been around the scene here and there, and this is probably one of the best rosters that Daybreak has put together. So these two teams now both 0-1 after taking losses in round 1, but this is their opportunity to get right back into the fight. And the issue is that they have to go through each other. So I'm excited to see this matchup unfold. Two very lovable teams ready to duke this out in a best of 3.
Yeah, without a doubt. And in game 1 here, we're going to start off with a bit of a bang with Mahi Mahi Resort Splat Zones. So I don't know about you, DRF, but I'm definitely expecting to see some Reef Sliders coming out in this game.
Yeah, that's become the tried and true, hasn't it, in Mahi zones. It's, just a Reef Sliders paradise. I'm trying to pull this out of memory. I do believe that Daybreak does have someone that can pivot to the Dreadringer, so that could be an option there. Drexel, on the other hand, I don't actually recall if anybody actually has a Dread weapon. It might be a Dapple's pick potentially, but we will see here. No, not going to be the case there, but there is the Dread as I had anticipated.
Yeah, coming out from Icebreaker there on Daybreak. Actually, a couple Dreads. We're seeing the Arrow Spray from Breakdown as well.
You know what's really interesting about these two teams' compositions? Yes, the double Reef Slider, but also the double bubble out of Drexel. They've run the double bubble comp before, and have had actually some pretty decent success with it. So this is going to be an interesting, I think this quite literally is the immovable object and the unstoppable force, but with these bubbles and Reef Sliders really going to be dictating the pace of this game.
Yeah, definitely. And it was Daybreak coming out to the early lead, but now is Drexel trying to establish control. They take down the Arrow Spray. Only special Daybreak has right now is that ballpoint splatling holding on to its Inkjet. Having to back up though as the Decapitator is attacking it before the Inkjet is popped. Drexel is getting very close to lead, and they will in fact take it here. That sends that water level dropping down, opening up some more of the map, some more possible paths from which we could see Reef Sliders coming in, as we see Breakdown coming in with one, taking away control from Drexel, but they're able to bring it right back before the other slider comes in and takes control for Daybreak again there.
And that is why the double Reef Slider works. The first one can serve a little bit more so as the bait, provide the neutral, then everybody's attention turns to that first Reef Slider just in time for the second Reef Slider to come on in and secure the zone, but this time they have backup.
Yeah, and it's Drexel being able to get the zone once again as Icebreaker comes in with another Reef Slider to flip it again, actually, so maybe I spoke a bit too soon there. As Drexel is able to use the Booyah Bomb to flip it once again, this zone is just flipping back and forth, as happens sometimes on Mahi Resort. As we're seeing a couple specials coming out from Daybreak, that Reef Slider actually working to go ahead of the zone there, and Daybreak follows up by capping it the more conventional way, as the teams are trading players a bit here. Just a lot of chaos and fighting happening in mid as these teams are trying to establish control, but it's Icebreaker on this Dreadbringer who gets a nice pick and is able to attack Drexel's plat, invade their home turf a bit, force them a bit, keep a bit on the defensive. As enough time has passed, that Daybreak is able to retake the lead and keep their momentum going.
I heard one Reef Slider. There is a second Reef Slider ready to roll. Grace is trying to move up there, but no, they're going to get called out. And now Daybreak looking to knock this one out. They have Drexel in a full-on stagger now. It just doesn't seem like they're going to get to the zone in time, and sure enough, Daybreak holds on in game number 1.
So it looks like the Unstoppable Force has beaten the Immovable Object this time around, DRF.
Yes, we did answer the age-old question. It's just that, especially with Reef Slider providing really mobility as the main perk in this battle of the Unstoppable Force and Immovable Object, the bubble is so good, but you have to be in position already in order to be able to deploy the bubble, whereas the Reef Slider, it forces you to get into position. So it's a little bit tricky. It seemed like that Daybreak was able to get off a few more Reef Sliders than we saw bubbles out of Drexel. Drexel has some good bubbles early, but once they got pushed back, it just seems so difficult for them to get the bubbles where they wanted them to be.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good assessment of that there. And in our next game on tower control of Inkblot Art Academy, I could definitely see the big bubbler being a very important factor here in this game. So this could be one a bit more suited to the type of comps Drexel likes to run here, and could potentially swing this head in their favor if they're able to execute well.
Yeah, that is going to, be the thing to watch out for. I do think that Grace will stick on that junior because that's just really what she's known for. Yeah. And when tower control on deck here, that bubble does become a little bit more crucial, as the bubble just provides you those extra points on the tower, or if perhaps the bubble can get up into bats, then that could also be a very strong position for your teammates to play around. So that could be something that we see here. I certainly don't think we will see the double Reef Slider, let alone a single Reef Slider in this next game out of Daybreak. They'll probably make some harder pivots coming into this one, but I know that the V-Dread is just part of Tota's arsenal, so perhaps the Dread sticks around. It's just a little bit harder to pull off in a map like Inkblot, where there's some tighter quarters to work around.
Yeah, definitely. And really, I think the big area to pay attention to here is when those teams get up to that ramp around checkpoint point 2 is going to be the key battle here. And as we were talking about earlier, I think a big bubbler is kind of going to be able to make or break this here if used right.
Yes, and with Nadra as well, having a number of blasters on hand, including the Dread Ringer. The blaster is certainly going to be a pick that we'll probably see a lot of. It's just so strong on tower control, and Inkblot in particular, with how many ledges there are. That is going to be something to watch out for. Probably might see a Tri-Slosher come out on one side or the other for a similar reason, although the Tri doesn't quite get the range that you would hope for. But there's one way to find out, Cygnus. Let's jump on in and see the adjustments, and I think we called a lot of that actually pretty well.
Yeah, I see the Tri-Slosher, I see the Blaster, I see Grace on the Junior with that big bubble. Although it turns out a Reef Slider is actually coming to this match courtesy of the Dreadringer.
It is. So we knew that was a possibility for them to stick with. And they have decided that, hey, yeah, the Dreadringer worked well in that last one. We don't need two of them, but one will do the trick.
Yeah, definitely. And it's Daybreak who is taking the tower first. Drexel is 2 down. They're already at checkpoint 1 with Windbreak moving up high to... threatening that bats area with the Kraken, which is able to pretty much get right past the big bubble to cause some chaos. Take Drexel's attention a bit as Daybreak gets it down to 55 on their first push. Now it's Drexel's turn to respond.
Purple holding onto this right stack. trying to find their way around, see if they can get into position. Going to be a little bit aggressive here, but Windbreak knows exactly where they are. Team trying to take advantage of their cooler. The Reef Slider comes out and somehow everybody survives that one. So Reef Slider comes right on through, finds nobody. Everybody kind of lives to see another second there. A couple people go down in seemingly separate fights, but Drexel holds on to the tower nonetheless. And Booyah Bomb coming out now. Grace with a bubble ready. They're going to hold on to this just a little bit, see if they can get themselves in position, but with only 2 members up, they recognize that this just isn't the opportunity. This isn't the time to try to force our way through. So Grace going to retreat and strategically use this bubble on that right stack to try to hold some positioning.
Yeah, that was a smart fallback there by Drexel, and Grace is actually able... Grace is actually able to go down and get the pick, but Drexel is a couple down again, so they're gonna have to regroup here. Take smart fights. Try to work things out. Nickel and Diamond back to neutral to their advantage as that tower is going back, but it's breakdown being able to take it and just hurl some fizzy bombs from the tower, get the cooler going, both to give the boost and give the tower rider a bit of a shield there as well. And that's a nice trade he gets on Gillies too.
Daybreak not able to add any points to the board. Both teams really trying to get to that second checkpoint, but nobody can quite find it. But Daybreak continues to hold this tower in an aggressive spot. They do have a Kraken ready, but they're not going to be able to use it. That's going to be 3 down. Gilly's able to find at least 2 of them. And 3 go down in total. Trying to find that last member. They have no clue where that 4th is. They think they're coming out of spawn, and they are. So a little bit of hesitation there out of Drexel. So they're now trying to get some momentum as Daybreak is in position for the defensive hold. They are going to be able to find a Dreadringer. A huge pick there indeed, Cygnus, as Turple looks to find more. The lead swaps. Turple gets the trade. The last member is all the way back. This should be some big points out of Drexel.
Yeah, Drexel does reach that second checkpoint, and they pass it. Will they be able... It will snowball it up, though. So Daybreak is establishing good defensive positions as Windbreak's weapon is back online as the Kraken expires, and they were able to force Drexel away from their plat for the time being, but it's Turple coming back, having taken 1, but gets 2v1s down by the members of Daybreak. But Grace is able to use the use the bubble to secure another pick, coming up, creating some more havoc, just distracting Daybreak a bit as the timer is starting to run down. We are in the final minute though, but Drexel is 2 down. Daybreak has the cooler. This is their chance to try to make a counter push.
Yes, and they are going to have to take this tower coast to coast, break down, trying to get ahead of this push. They are way ahead of the tower. And no, they have 2 teammates go down, so Breakdown's going to have to concede this position that they, I think, really loved so much. And now, huddling around the tower, probably the right call here. All members back online for both teams. It's gonna come down to this final fight. The Booyah Bomb, though, coming out, ready with the GG. It has to come out a little bit early, though, because Drexel finds themselves 2 down. A bit of a stagger now, and this one's gonna come down to the wire. Gilly's gonna make a dive for the tower, not gonna be able to find it, and it looks like Turple has to be the last person standing. Daybreak comes from behind and wins the game and the set.
Did Windbreak just get all 4 kills there with that heavy splatling?
That is very much a possibility.
That looked like to me. That was incredible.
I think we'll have to get the replay on that one just to see, because it certainly seemed like it, as Windbreak with the Kraken was able to just hold on to that tower. Max Mix does go down there to Breakdown, so I believe that was Turple that they ended up getting. Here's the pick on Gillies, and I believe it was a triple, so not quite the quad, but pretty impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, and really, the key to that whole push being able to be out was actually the Reef Slider going in under the Booyah Bomb, allowing Daybreak to attack the bomb and force it to come out early, stopping it from being that GG situation you brought up earlier, DRF.
No, they executed that so well because they recognized the Booyah Bomb was there. So Daybreak said, hey, we have to rush in now. And the entire team just in sync pushed up into bats. They found the 2 picks, left the heavy edit on an island of its own, left the Booyah quite literally on an island of its own, just hanging out in space there to hold on to. And they recognize that, hey, if I don't throw this Booyah Bomb now, I'm gonna go down and we aren't even gonna get the stall. So they had to go ahead and throw that Booyah Bomb. As soon as they landed, got picked off, and Drexel staggered from there. So perfect execution in a late game situation by Daybreak. It's really tough to pull something like that off, and they executed it to a T.
Yeah, it was really well done. And I'd also like to shout out Drexel for how well they played that game as well. They did a great job, including flipping the lead late. Honestly, until those last moments there, I really thought they were going to hold on and win that one. They played really well. We saw Gillies with some really nice flanks, getting a lot of key picks. We saw Grace using the big bubbler really opportunistically to turn around some picks. Turple making nice plays with the blaster as well. Daybreak won the match, but Drexel put up a great fight as well.
Yes, both teams fought really well, but Daybreak is the one that comes out on top, 2-0. So that puts them at 1-1. Drexel now going to be dropping to 0-2, going to be facing the dreaded elimination game the rest of the way through. So they are going to be holding on for dear life in these circuit finals. So that now starts to really shape where everybody is at. When you progress from round 2 to round 3, that's when you start to get a good pulse on things. So we now are going to have 4 teams up in the 2-0 section, as we still get scores slowly coming in here. We do know that USF Gold, Las Crituras, and Reef Runners are currently 2-0. Still waiting on, I believe, Death Roll and Splatlanders, who are currently 2-1. Death Roll being up right now. Winner of that will progress to that 2-0 section. And then down in that elimination game, 0-2, ONSU Scarlet, the Towson Tigersharks, UCSD Esports Gold, and Drexel Dragons Splatoon. So a bit of an interesting mix down in those elimination games. A couple of teams that I didn't think we would see this early in jeopardy. So Cygnus, this really is a bit of a shakeup from, I think, a lot of folks' expectations so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel that's kind of part of the beauty of this format is that, some of the expected results are there, but all it takes is like one match loss. The trajectory could be like totally changed here. Each of the 5 rounds is just so important, like none more important than the last one. Everything matters so much, and that's part of the beauty of this format and why I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, 4 teams that are really strong down in that elimination game. You know, another notable team that I haven't mentioned here, PSU Blue. They are 1-1 after losing to the Reef Runners 1-3. The Reef Runners has been one of the breakout stories of this circuit season so far. They came out with 2 circuit victories, winning over the likes of PSU Blue to be able to claim a couple of those. And it's been, I believe H-Town was the other team that they had beat to win in qualifier 5, I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So it's actually been a pretty interesting dynamic to see. So Reef Runners able to get the job done, showing that, hey, the one time we beat you was not a fluke. You better be on watch. And PSU Blue, I think, certainly is.
Yeah, I think this might be starting to turn into a bit of a rivalry here. between Reef Runners and PSU Blue.
I think so too. It's, kind of a thing of beauty. A couple of other teams that to shout out here in that 1-1 section in particular: RIT Orange Ocean, GT Gold, who came in as a substitute team after a team was unable to make the finals. H-Town Rebels, Arc Halley, Daybreak, as we had just seen, and MSU Amethyst. So quite the collection here. I mean, I could, pretty much any team you mentioned in Div 1, you're like, oh, that team's good. Oh, that team's also good. Oh, I kind of forgot how good that team can actually be.
That's why they're in Div 1.
That's why they're in Div 1. So I mean, we have 16 really strong teams that are playing in these circuit finals. So it really is anybody's game so far.
Absolutely. A very exciting circuit finals, and even if for those teams in the elimination game, I mean, unfortunately some of them are going to be going home early, but I mean, 2 of those 4 teams are still going to be winning and advancing further into round 4 as well. So there's still plenty of hope for everyone.
There absolutely is, as we wait on the next round matchup. I believe we will probably be going to those 2-0 matchups. As also we look at the bracket, I was like, oh man, we have a lot of 3-1s, but I totally forgot that. Best of 3s, we give each team a win going into this round. So for the most part, there's actually been quite a few sweeps. Las Criaturas perfect so far at 4-0. And we just finally have report that Death Roll did win that set against Splatlanders in a sweep. So they go 2-0 in that one. Splatlanders previously taking the round 1 victory over the Towson Tigersharks. Pretty good result there from the Splatlanders. And RT Orange Ocean being the other team to get a good upset in that first round. So pretty interesting results thus far. Round 3 is actually should be getting generated any minute now. But Cygnus, I mean, as we, start to look at round 3, one thing I do want to actually briefly shout out is the CCA Circuit Finals Pick'ems.
Yes, absolutely. A great endeavor by our staff member, getting everyone involved, letting everyone make their predictions, seeing who comes out looking extra smart here this weekend in the CCA. It's a lot of fun, definitely. I put in my pick'ems like pretty much frame 1 as soon as they dropped.
I had to wait until a little bit last minute to do mine. Last night I had to help my friend who apparently had a flat tire change his tire in front of my house at 3 a.m. And then after that, I was like, wow, that was quite the experience. It was quite a bonding moment, actually. And, from there we finally, called it quits, went to bed, whatever. And I was in bed. I was like, the pick'ems. I forgot to do the pick'ems, so I laid in bed and got my pick'ems in, at the last moment. But Cygnus, I have to ask, what do you think was your spiciest pick in the pick'ems?
I'd say my spiciest pick is probably in which team will go undefeated in day 1, which I think could just be a spicy category in general. I wanted to avoid some of the more obvious answers. I went to Div 4 with my pick. I went with TAMU Black with my pick. I just feel they were just very dominant in Division 4 back in Split 1 before they were moved up to Division 3. They're back in Division 4 here for the circuit. I think we could see a really strong performance from them this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that is a very smart pick. I think depending on who you ask, someone might say that that's spicy and others might say it's not that spicy, because TMU Block is like if you know, you know. In Qualifier 2, they had a perfect qualifier. They did not drop a single game on their way to winning back-to-back qualifiers. So a beautiful job out of TAMU Black. I do think that they are a team with very high potential to go 7-0 today. And of course, the elephant in the room there. Yeah, I know you're trying to be a little bit different there because let's be honest, most people are probably going to be picking Las Crituras.
Yeah, exactly.
And so far, that seems to be the case, that they are perfect. But I mean, we've seen them lose a game before to Death Roll, so if they run into them in this next round, as Death Roll is now 2-0, it is possible that they, kind of get a little bit of a stagger there. But I do really like that Tamu Black pick.
Yeah, and looking at things, actually, Tamu Black is 4-0 so far in games. So they're one perfect set away from making me look smart. They
are on their way to providing you those 50 points in the pick'ems. I think on the flip side of things, I think some of the other interesting questions to look around, for example, like trying to pick which team is going to go 3-2, because with that selection, you have to be really confident that this team is going to make it to day 2, but you also have to be confident that, like, hey, this team likes to get into close sets, and things kind of swing one way or the other. Perhaps they find themselves in that round 5, but ultimately you think they're going to win out. Or perhaps you bet on a team that, hey, they're not coming into this as particular favorites, but I have faith in them that they're gonna, make a run and, surprise some folks. So you can kind of look at it a couple of different ways there as well. One team that I kind of put in that position, Div 5, Heidelberg Esports. They've been a team that has hovered around the top 8 in every single Div 5 qualifier. And they haven't quite gone over the hump yet, but they've proven that they're consistently a top 8 team. So I think that that's going to be a team to watch out for as they make their way through the Swiss stage. I'm pretty sure that they'll find themselves in that round 5, but I'm also confident that they're going to win out.
It's a really good point. Heidelberg's actually a team I have going 3-1 in Swiss.
Okay.
Swiss, I have some belief in them.
Okay. So I think we're on the same wavelength there. Shout out to Heidelberg.
Yeah.
We do have Div 5 coverage going on at Splatoon Tourney 2. They'll be sharing coverage over there with Div 3. So if you want to check out any of those other divisions, go to Splatoon Tourney 2. Over on Splatoon Tourney, our partners for the CCA Circuit Finals, you'll be seeing Div 2 and Div 4 being covered over there. So if you want to check out any of those other divisions, please go Splatoon Tourney and Splatoon Tourney 2 here on Twitch.
we said we let it go, but we settled for the last. Couldn't let you want it though. Who am I to let you down? No. Who am I to let you down, down, down? If you let me walk away, maybe then we'd lose it all. No. Who am I to let you?
Welcome back, everybody, to the CCA Circuit Finals, day number 1. I'm DRF, joined by Cygnus, and we are ready for round number 3. Cygnus, it is time that we say goodbye to some teams, but it's not going to be any of these teams, as these teams are 1-1. So, a pretty close matchup here. This is an absolute game changer of a round, as one of these teams will progress up into that 2-1 section with the chance to advance, giving themselves 2 chances to advance, where the other team will drop down to 1-2 and will have to fight and claw their way back into top 8 position.
Yes, we have MSU Amethyst from Michigan State University here up against the H-Town Rebels from the University of Houston. 2 universities with a lot of history in the CCA, and they're battling it out here in Division 1, trying to get themselves into a good position to advance and avoid being in that elimination stage, as you were saying, DRF.
Well, it is now also a best of 5. So as the stakes increase, so do the length of the sets. So 5 games is what it's going to take now, or up to 5 games, to determine the winner of this one. So we're guaranteed at least 3 games between these two. MSU Amethyst, H-Town Rebels. 2 teams that I feel like we've seen bits and pieces of, but Cygnus, I feel like we really haven't gotten the opportunity to cherish these 2 teams. So I'm really excited to see what they bring out.
Yes, I'm here. We're going to be starting on Clan Blitz at Umami Ruins here for game number 1. We're jumping right in. Let's see what comps these teams are running right off the bat.
Well, taking a look here, we do see the Glugas coming out of Complete. So that really shouldn't be a surprise, but every time I see it, I'm like, damn, Glugas. And I look, it's Complete, I'm like, yes, that is right. so that should not be an actual surprise, but whoa!
My goodness.
What is this, Cygnus?
An early wipeout on the side of H-Town Rebels. And of course, it looks like it was Complete right in the center of it as we were talking about them. And H-Town is already on the board, getting it below that important 60-point threshold. In fact, getting more than halfway to what they need to get a knockout, getting it all the way down to 41, and it looks like that'll be all for that first push. But what a big and impressive first push it is, coming right off of that opening fight wipeout.
And MSU looks ready to respond just as fast. Finally going to be slowed down a little bit there as the Gal going down. It's Crab trying to hold position there, but not going to be able to quite find anything. So this does result in a bit of a stalemate. MSU still has the slight position advantage, so a decent spot for them to be in. But H-Town Rebels looking to clap back, push them back, and they're doing just that. Despite losing one of their own, they're going to lose a second here. Bomb going to be getting the jumper, but no, not going to be able to pick him off there. MSU doing a great job of just trying to battle around this center stack and able to do just that. So now finally in position again to strike, but do they have the clamps to pull something off? It doesn't seem quite like it, Cygnus.
No, especially not after that nice pick by Dio there, who's trying to give H-Town some of that momentum back as they do have a one-player advantage for the time being as they're going in, taking aggressive fights. But no, Dio will actually go down there as the teams trade down, as teams trade players out of spell, just being attacked in that crab tank. Cheeseballs with a nifty zipcaster move along the outer edge of the stage there. Will rush and get one pick, comes so close to the triple, but barely miss out on those last two targets who 2v1 them down.
MSU Amethyst pushed back underneath their basket, trying to hold off H-Town Rebels. The Crab gonna come out now, try to slow things down, but no, two members of H-Town right underneath to deliver the blow. And now H-Town with the score. They're looking to expand on this lead. They have the clams to do it. Cheeseballs throws in a couple from their pockets. Spare change in the basket, looking for more, but not able to find it. Actually, that is going to be Toast that comes with a few. A jump coming in as well, but that jump's going to have to retreat. Any clams on the field? There are plenty, but can they get to the basket in time? No! They had the opportunity to knock this one out, Cygnus, but now they're going to have to extend this game just a little bit longer.
They give us a bit more content as they do pull up another wipeout onto MSU Amethyst and looking to get right back to their scoring ways. They get it below 25 points, more than 3/4 of the way there. They're to knock out, but they're going to have to back up with 19 points remaining to score in, as MSU is pushing up just a little bit further with their defense, trying to get something going here. Just looking for an opening as Complete is getting ready to fire another Booyah Bomb in, as Toast drops the Tacticooler along with it. But H-Town is only 2 up. They're having to get their remaining members back in. MSU is trying desperately to find an opening. They need to win a fight here, as 20 Rats takes down Dio, takes down Cheeseballs, and is moving in. No, but goes down to Toast right as they set up the splash wall.
Oh, if they had found Toasted there, I think that would have been MSU's response. But now they have to settle for the center plat. Crab is out, trying to find somebody, not able to do so quite yet. There is somebody on that far right side. I think they're aware of them. Yes, the heavy edit, looking to try to get a couple of shots that way. Missiles coming out now, but it's MSU that finds themselves going one down. Complete trying to make a move. It's the edit coming in for support, and Cygnus. H-Town has once again turned this back on its head.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of just pushing up together as a team, winning these fights, and just moving in as we're seeing Complete readying another one of those deadly Booyah Bombs as MSU's already 2 members down. That gives Toast the opportunity to give their life for that score, reopening the basket once again as Cheeseballs is hiding here. Can MSU find them? No, Cheeseballs gets it in, and that is game 1 in favor of the H-Town Rebels.
Some great positioning there by Cheeseballs at the end to ensure that they would get the game victory, that MSU wouldn't even sniff overtime. We got it for maybe half a second there as the Shark with the 2 clams to make sure that, all right, put the score in, it's over. H-Town put on an absolute clinic here in Umami Clams, and I mean, that was quite the gut punch that they just delivered.
Yeah, especially with that last push At the end, the Booyah Bomb when MSU is already 2 down, and then Cheeseball's following up with that great hiding trick and just able to run right in and finish things off at the very end. And really, I mean, H-Town just had momentum almost the whole time in this game, starting with this opening team fight where they took the early wipeout. Like, as we were just like getting acclimated to what the teams were running in their comps, they were already just taking players down and rushing towards the goal.
11 seconds is what it took to get the wipeout. I love that was so fast that the replay starts before the game starts. Like, that is how fast H-Town Rebels were in their opening push. Like, that is absurd. Like, no, you're not supposed to do that. Like, I hope H-Town realizes that. Like, Nogami didn't design the game this way. You slow it down a little bit. Let us catch up.
Splatoon always has been a fast-paced game, to be fair. And H-Town just pushing that to the extreme here.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing some limit testing today. So impressive all around from the H-Town Rebels, and MSU Amethyst now looking for answers going into game number 2, because like we said, that is a jarring way to be handed a game 1 loss. So it's going to, as we look towards our next map list, we're looking at 3, 4, 5 here. So, not quite what we, are going to be looking at yet. Game number 2 should actually be Splatzone's Robo Ramen. There we go. Thank you, Neptune, our producer for today. We always want to make sure we give our producers a little bit of love.
Shout out Neptune.
Yes, indeed. But Splatzone's Robo Cygnus. This has been a map mode that, kind of seen itself fade in and out of the general comp scene. So, it's one of those that, especially if you have some longer range weapons, i.e. a pencil or a E-leader in particular, it tends to be a bit of a playground for those weapons. The longer the range, the more you get to play, it feels.
Yeah, definitely. As a backliner myself, this is one of my personal favorite map modes in the game.
There you go. And as a Tri-Slosher user, this gives me Muscle Forge from Splatoon 2. So I actually do like this map mode myself as well.
Some nice flank routes.
Yes, there's a lot of flank routes, and it just takes a while to be able to capitalize on some of those flanks. But if you can get yourself in position, you cause a lot of chaos. So I'm sure that we'll see a couple of those longer range weapons come out alongside some, relatively aggressive weapons that are going to be. Oh, that is the bow out of Coastline.
Yes, the Inkline Tri-Stringer. I'd love to see that definitely. I think that's a great pick for this map mode. Super Chumps can get a lot of mileage here, and the bow, I feel, is just really good for this map in particular.
Well said, Cygnus. So we'll see what that bow has in store for us, as H-Town, though, really trying to capitalize on the same opening that they delivered in game number 1. No here. MSU Amethyst might have gotten the first claim of the zone, but it's H-Town who has the first push of the game, and they are already all collectively on this elbow trying to push MSU Amethyst out of this game.
And what a job by that Slosher Deco with that Zipcaster. I mean, the fact that there's a bucket with a Zipcaster is still just a bit crazy to me. I mean, some of the things that weapon could do with it is just kind of crazy, and it's one of the lesser seen Zipcaster weapons. So I like it getting some. So I like seeing it getting some spotlight here, as MSU is still maintaining their control despite. H-Town, is maintaining their control despite the efforts of MSU Amethyst here. They're doing a great job maintaining the zone. They're within the final 10 points, taking it to a knockout. 3, 2, 1. There we go, with even more picks coming from H-Town Rebels. They were just sending sending bodies all the way down to the other side of the map, and they did a great job in getting this quick knockout here in Game 2.
I feel like with MSU in that game, there was just a lot of missed opportunity. There wasn't a lot of opportunity to begin with because, of course, H-Town is just pedal to the metal right now. They are slamming on the gas and holding forward. And I mean, at the end of the day, they're just winning out these fights. But with MSU, it just felt like there was missed opportunity, the couple of chances they had to get back into the zone with, holding on to the chumps for a really long time. I can't spell right here where they go down. They had a bubble on hand. They didn't need to get too far into the zone to pop the bubble. The bubble would have been very strategically placed right at the corner of their own elbow. That would have been able to provide their team just enough leverage to get into position for then the strikes to follow, which they did. But again, the strikes were then slightly offline. They only had 2 members. So it just didn't seem like MSU Amethyst ever had the rhythm in this game to give themselves the opportunity. So
yeah, it seemed to me kind of like that splatter color screen almost like stopped them in their tracks pretty much.
Yeah, it kind of did. So it felt like they hit a wall, almost literally.
Yeah.
And there was just no answer for it. But now we do look to game number 3, Tower Control Manta Maria. That is going to be where H-Town could either complete the sweep or MSU finds their way back into this set. And for MSU, I mean, Tower Control Manta is kind of tricky. This is one of those that can snowball very, very quickly. But if they can play their cards right around Street, they can certainly do a lot to slow down the H-Town Rebels.
Yeah, I couldn't really say it better myself. You almost took the words right out of my mouth here, as we're heading in now to this pivotal Game 3 very soon.
Yeah, I know we kept seeing the bubble. We're like, oh, we're going in. No, we're back.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going in. Oh, we're back. So the answer is we're back. But yes, soon enough we will get to jump into game number 3 of this set. So H-Town really did run a very interesting composition in that last game. I mean, you mentioned it, especially with like the Zipcaster Slosher.
Yeah.
That's not a weapon that we see a whole lot of. Most folks do opt for the vanilla Slosher, especially in zones when you can get trip strikes. So it was a very interesting choice, but it's one that worked out because, again, H-Town has been just running it down. So I guess the Zipcaster enables that even further.
Yeah, and now for real this time, here we're going into game number 3 on Tower Control Manta Maria. We're seeing the bow still coming out from MSU's side, and that Zipcaster bucket is returning once again from Cheese Balls of H-Town Rebels. And here we go, game number 3. Could be match point in favor of H-Town. MSU fighting to stay alive and send us to game 4. Here we go.
Complete already. Looking for some picks here, but some nice movement there. Not able to survive that one, though, as H-Town is once again dominating the early game, finds the stagger. Toast now going to be the one in charge of this tower as the rest of the team pushes up into Street. Dio going to go down before they're able to pop their special. 20 Rats finds another pick, trying to move up, trying to get up to Toast, is going to go ahead and let Toast retreat out of this one and get control of their bunker. But first they got a Zipcaster that they have to deal with, and the Zipcaster is merely the distraction. Dio into place, complete in place.
Goodness.
Everybody is here, and
That was the
H-Town
first three
never
down.
left.
It just let him force a quick 3 down, and here's H-Town back up to checkpoint 2, and Dio is still causing havoc here behind around the crow's nest. Eventually will go down 2-shot from the bow, which also takes down complete, but it's Cheeseball Zipcastering in once again, causing some havoc before eventually being stopped as this tower is making its way back towards more neutral ground.
Wow. What an opening there by H-Town. That was effectively a minute and a half opening. They held onto that position for so long, and for the first time this game, this tower has completely reset. But H-Town still the team with the numbers. So MSU still scrambling to get into position to find some sort of leverage in this game, but they haven't been able to find that quite yet. They are in a decent position here overlooking the tower, but H-Town continues to push it forward. I can't spell, gonna go down to Toast, and that's 3 down on the side of MSU. H-Town looking to expand on the lead.
Yeah, and H-Town has a splash wall and the splatter cover screen up next to the tower, pretty much forcing everything kind of like funneled in front of the tower where they're taking the fight. They get to checkpoint 3, but go a couple members down, and MSU is able to start sending the tower back with Coastline riding the tower. 20 Rats jumping in there, as well as I Can't Spell is leading the charge up onto the bunker, but it's Dio meeting them there. There will go down though as 20 Rats readies the Booyah Bomb, as H-Town though has a Booyah Bomb ready of their own. No, never mind. Complete goes down, and so does Toast. It's just the buckets with their specials ready, as these teams are starting to trade players as this tower is trying to approach back into neutral. But it's Cheeseballs able to run down the crab tank, get another Zipcaster up before going down to Rise and their slasher.
Oh, and just this push from H-Town persists. It's every single time that MSU finds the numbers again, then they find themselves just going back down 1, down 2. H-Town just so slippery in this game. It's just impossible to isolate any of these players to be able to find 2v1 opportunities, and this lead will be expanded upon once again. It looks like H-Town has the dagger in hand. Can they deliver the final blow? And it's not going to be the case just yet, as H-Town finally goes 3 down.
So yeah, the Zipcaster recall is waiting on that tower though, but Rise will catch it and manage to take down Cheeseballs there. There's strikes already, and the Booyahs at the ready for MSU to try to force their counter push, but they are a member down here as Dio goes down 2 at the hands of Rise. Both specials being popped by MSU Amethyst. Mainly seems to be used to take space as the tower settled in neutral, but Rise gets the good pick onto Toast and onto Complete. Gets around the special, trying to take a third, but it was Dio behind them, them putting in the end and going on a bit of a run of their own.
15 seconds to play. MSU finally able to put some points on the board. They're going to have to go quite the distance to keep this set alive. But it's the GG Booyah that is ready from Complete. Complete will let them get all the way to that second checkpoint, and that will do it. H-Town Rebels completes the sweep in round 3 and moves on to 2-1.
Well, they definitely completed that sweep, as Complete 2 launched that GG Booyah Bomb there at the end.
Yes. So the Booyah Bomb propels H-Town to the next round with 2 opportunities to advance to day 2. As we take a look at the final replay here is the dagger. They had the dagger in their hand early, missed the opportunity, but of course the dagger of the Booyah Bomb is one that is very, very difficult to avoid.
Yeah, definitely. There's a reason GG Booyah Bomb is a known phrase throughout the community, but I gotta say, despite what the points on the board say, there were definitely a lot of good moments from MSU Amethyst. Rise had a lot of really good picks, as we saw there. The Tri-Stringer picked up a couple kills in a row. It definitely was not without a good effort from MSU Amethyst, but in the end, H-Town Rebels are just so good at just moving in fast and overwhelming their opponents early on and just pushing their advantage as much as they can.
Very well said there, Cygnus. I couldn't agree more. I think it boils down to that MSU had some great individual plays, but H-Town was the one leading the way on the team plays,
Yeah.
and that was the difference maker.
Yeah, perfectly said there, DRF.
Well, that concludes round number 3. H-Town Rebels, congratulations once again. I'm sure that this is not the last that we will see of you all. But we do have to say goodbye, Cygnus, for the time being. Thank you so much for joining us on this block today. I believe I'm actually going to be sticking around here to substitute in for one of our commentators who is unfortunately feeling ill today. But Cygnus, please go ahead and plug yourself before we sign off for this first half.
Yeah, thank you, DRF. You can find me at cygnusx1018.bsky.social over on Blue Sky, or you can find me as HU Cygnus here in the CC here at the CCA in our Discord server. I try to be around, and that's where you can find me. And I hope everyone stays tuned for a fantastic finish to day 1 here at the CCA Circuit Finals here in Season 2 of the circuit.
will start falling.
Yeah, we said we let it go, but we settled for the last. Couldn't let you want it though. Who am I to let you down? No, who am I to let you down? Down, if you let me walk away, maybe then we'd lose it all. No. Who am I to let you
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you want wanna feel right, 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 right. Do you wanna feel? Full steam through the setbacks. You can't win them all, but I'm proud I tried. I'm glad we had a dialogue. It's good to shape the mind. Speeding up the pace, turning up the heat. Where I need to be for the first time. I'm taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switching in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel? Stop stalling in the doorway.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CCA Circuit Finals. It is day number 1, Swiss round number 4. I am DRF, joined by Rissa, and we have another fantastic matchup for you all. It is the Reef Runners out of Cal Poly Pomona taking on GT Gold from Georgia Tech. Rissa, thank you so much for joining us today to bring home the back half of day number 1.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me. Happy to be here. I love doing this because I'm not super familiar with CCA, and like every time I get to do something with CCA, I just love learning about these teams and then realizing I'll see the teams and I'm like, wait, I know that person. I know that person. I don't know. It's fun. I love this.
It is. It really is, because you recognize folks that you know from other teams and you're like, oh, okay, you go to this college, you know, in a way, you kind of get to know them a little bit better. And both teams have players that are just generally familiar from around the scene. Like with Reef Runners, you know, Red Rum is a name that I think folks back in the day would know, you know, was around for a while, kind of took a step away from comp, and is now focusing on collegiate here with the Reef Runners.
That's so cool. I know. And then looking at like just the names like on both of the teams, I have them pulled up here on my side. You know, Taco.
Yes, Tacos and Taco for GT Gold, the dynamic duo.
Right. But yeah, that's like players like that. I'm like, wait, I know them. Once I pull up the player list and getting to see them play competitive in a college setting is, like you said, it's cool because you get to like learn more about them and see them in different settings.
Well, these two teams are ready to face off in best of 5. They are both 2-1 coming into this. So whoever wins this best of 5 will advance to day number 2. Rissa, we're starting off with some Splat Zones. Barney, taking a look at these compositions, what's standing out to you?
There's quite a few things standing out to me here. I mean, look at that. On Reef Runners, we have a Roller, we have a Dread, we have a E-Leader, and then on the other side too, there's that Decab. We have a, oh my goodness, both teams actually have a Splattershot Pro now that I'm looking at it too. A lot of really interesting things we'll see play out here.
Well, it is an early clash in mid. Reef Runners, after a 30-second struggle there, are able to take first claim to the zone. So they're going to hold on to this one for now, but with the Roller going down, this should be GT Gold's opportunity to make a move in. Squib Kid has anything to say with it on the E-Leader. They find a nice pick there. Their team continues to hold on to the stalemate. But so far, both teams really just kind of hold the positions the best they can. But finally, Reef Runners has an explosive push here.
Yeah, they were both of the teams. You could see them just staying on their sides and really just trying to see what they could do to get the upper hand initially. And then as soon as Reef Runners got that one pick, they were able to rush in and take down the entire other team.
Crab out from Tacos, trying to find a pick, but their teammate goes down right behind them. Tacos not able to find any value with the Crab, and now has to face the Reef Slider, and the Reef Runners are running away with this game.
They are. Look at this. It's counting down to 15, but with the Roller going down, GT Gold, they're going to have to try and do anything they can to just get to the zone. They're coolered up. They're trying to just run to the zone, and they do. That's all they needed to do. They literally just need to run in, cap the zone, give those penalty points over to Reef Runners. They did exactly that. Now they have to really set themselves up for success here throughout the rest of this match.
I'm not even sure how they slipped through that. They had, you know, a very even numbers game there. And the fact that they managed to turn that one around, a huge hero play to extend this game. And now GT Gold is in the power position. They have control of Reef Runner's stack, and they're looking to deliver a taste of Reef Runner's own medicine.
They're setting up now, getting under Reef Runner's basket. Ooh, Solstice, nice pick there with that decav as well. But there's only, okay, I was going to say it's only the Splash left alive, and that was called out as well. So essentially a team wipe onto GT Gold. And now with Reef Runners getting the zone back, They have some specials ready as well. They're really setting themselves up here to try and just completely KO this. And look at that, they're taking down members of GT Gold as well as they are also holding the zone.
Penalty continues to tick away for the Reef Runners. GT Gold with a slight numbers disadvantage, but they do have 2 specials online to rival the 2 on the side of the Reef Runners. Booyah Bomb comes out a little bit early, and the roller punishes 2 as a result. And this one should be said and done unless this last second dive has anything to say about it. No, Reef Runners will claim the first game of this set.
Yeah, that was a really good game. I mean, at first, Reef Runners seemed like they were just gonna completely KO that initially, and then once GT Gold got in there and at least capped the zone, I was like, okay, wait, maybe this is a little more back and forth than I thought. But definitely signs of life from GT Gold, so maybe they can use this first match as a way to figure out how they want to approach the other team.
Yeah, and that's always, the tale of game number 1s. It's really trying to figure out what is working and not working against your opposition. And, with GT Gold here, I think one of the things that they may have slightly underestimated is this roller. This roller came up big a couple of times with the triple and then with the late game double as well. So that's something that they're going to have to continue to plan around. Here's that second double there from the roller. So I think that's going to be one thing that GT Gold was going to have to turn their focus towards on how to best counter this.
It's interesting too because I feel like Reef Runners comp, it's like they're legends that you don't necessarily play against a lot in competitive. So it's almost like you kind of have to step back and be like, wait, okay, we're not used to playing against these weapons in particular and their strategies around each other. So we have to really step back and be like, okay, wait, how do we approach this? Let's get a feel for this and figure it out.
Yeah, and as we kind of pivot towards game number 2, which is going to be Tower Control Mako Mart, you start to think about the compositions that these teams brought out. Like you said, they are a little bit unique. These aren't compositions you see a whole lot of. But you start to figure out, okay, how do these puzzle pieces fit together on each individual map mode? And we look at Tower Control Mako, the roller actually is a really good fit here despite being unconventional, because you can really work around those ledges, and then bubble is just always good on tower. So it's one of those things where it's like, this is sort of a match made in heaven. It's just, can you build around it to make it successful?
Definitely. I know I'm interested too, if they're going to come out with that similar comp. I have a feeling the slosher is going to be gone. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. That with the Reef Slider, I'm always like, I feel like that's like a zone specific weapon that you want to play, but
kind of, yeah.
But you never know. We'll see here.
But yeah. Especially for Reef Slider enthusiasts, they will find a way to make it useful in other map modes. So I do know that Inkai is one of those Reef Slider enthusiasts. Okay. This very well could be an opportunity for them to potentially stick with the weapon. They might pivot to a different type of Reef Slider. Their arsenal does run pretty deep though, so it could be any number of things coming out of Inkai in particular.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, it's interesting, like you said, when they are Reef Slider connoisseurs, they will stick with that. And they are so good at it too. You just the moment you're least expecting it, all of a sudden just Reef Slider, and they do it so well.
Yeah, especially you could get the Reef Slider in plus the jump out. If you compare that particularly with a cooler weapon too, it's just an absolutely lethal combination. So it's going to be one thing that we'll look out for as we dive into the second game to see, if that's the type, if there's any adjustments with that roller Reef Slider combination out of Reef Runners. But meanwhile, from the side of GT Gold, they've got a couple of good looks there, but it never felt like they quite got a hold on things like they would have wanted. They had a decent push once they managed to claim the zone. They got through about half of the score, but it's one of those things where I think they their issues are less at the composition micro level, but more generally at the macro level, and possibly more with team positioning and, you know, trying to time those specials correctly, things like that. So that's what I'm going to be looking for out of GT Gold, is more of a macro adjustment, whereas the Reef Runners, I'm looking more at those micro adjustments.
That's a good point to bring up too. Yeah, like when you think about GT Gold, when they were set up, they were playing really well and they definitely had a hold on things, but they had to, you know, just little things like watching the ledges, watching the corners before you turn them, maybe using your specials to clear drops, just things like that, because once Reef Runners got set up in GT Gold's spawn area, they really had a hard time getting out of that.
They did. But with all of that said, we now have game number 2 here for you all. Let's dive on into this one. Tower control, Mako, Mart. Like we said, we're keeping an eye on these compositions, and it looks like Reef Runners really sticking with what they had and what worked well in that first game. Meanwhile, GT Gold making some more drastic adjustments.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna see that S-Blast coming out instead of the Rapid Blaster, I believe that was. And then we're also seeing a Mini come out. So definitely some adjustments, and I'm curious to see how that plays out here and what their game plan is going to be. Initially here, Taco's taking out, what is that? Oh my gosh, two members of the other team with that hammer. So starting out well. That's like the Reef slider. People who are good with the hammer, just like Taco's was, they definitely can make things happen with that. And look, they are actually able to hold mid as well and allow their entire team to come back into mid to help them start pushing the tower.
GT Gold off to a good start here. They are working through this first checkpoint, and they will in fact clear it. Squib Kid does have the Kraken ready for when this tower approaches the ledge, but no, they're gonna have to kind of pop this one a little bit early, diving into the bubble, plus the Booyah Bomb completely scatters the members of GT Gold. A good combination there for the defensive holdout of Reef Runner, but GT Gold still holds on and continues this push.
Yeah, GT Gold is really holding on here, and they're just continuing. I like that they're letting the tower go when they need to. Oh, Reef Slider comes in, gets 2 members with that Reef Slider. But yeah, GT Gold, I love that they're just kind of, they were just holding the tower there and just kind of letting Reef Runners come into them and then getting the picks when they needed, hopping back on the tower and just slowly counting down the points. However, tower going back into mid here, and with both teams really, you know, staying on their sides, they're just trying to see how they can get the upper hand first here to get onto the tower.
GT Gold continues to hold a relatively aggressive position here in mid, is able to find Inkai there, but gonna get called out by the Booyah Bomb in return. Taco's on an island by himself. They're gonna get called out, shut down, and this tower though continues to push for GT Gold. Now finding 2 down on either side. Solstice able to continue riding this tower, pops the bubble right in time, is able to trade with the roller. So once again, we go back and forth between these two teams, Rissa. It's GT Gold that continues to hold the position, but we're seeing trades left and right.
A lot of trades happening. GT Gold is really doing a good job at holding their footing this time around. I think one of the things that's really actually standing out to me is they have a lot of paint on the map with that mini and that end zap. They're able to just keep so much paint on the ground, and that makes it a lot more difficult for the other team who doesn't necessarily have that kind of painting power.
Yeah, and paint control just so precious in a map like Mako Mart in particular, where you just have so many crucial positions to try to get to, as now Squib Kid popping the Kraken is able to find 1, and that is a delayed wipe on the side of GT Gold. So Reef Runners will finally get to clear this first checkpoint 3 minutes into the game. But now it's the lead that they are after, holding on to the Booyah Bomb to try to force their way to that lead, and they find it. Taco's with the hammer to try to slow down this push and is able to find 1 and gets the second on the toss.
That was awesome. Taco's just showing us that they're like, all right, I'm going to play the mini. I'm not only going to paint a lot, but I'm also just going to absolutely dominate with the hammer, doing a great job with that and just continuing to get openings with that hammer for their team. Now we see GT Gold getting into mid. Ooh, they do have 2 members down. There's that jump in that's going to get called out as well. And we see this Decaf here trying to do everything they can. Solstice trying to just hold as much ground as they can, but it seems like Reef Runners, they got some momentum going there. And they're really holding out with this momentum, continuing to keep the tower in their hold.
Under a minute to play. Reef Runners, 3 specials online. It looks like they're going to try to hold on to these as long as possible, especially as they continue to find picks on GT Gold. But they see Tacos with the hammer, and they said, not this time. Get out of here with the hammer. We already know what to expect. And now it's Reef Runners trying to push this tower in the opposite direction that GT Gold needs it to go to continue to complicate their effort to come back late in game number 2. Solstice looking for a couple of picks, but no, Inkai is there to try to push them around, forcing Solstice back. And now in the final 15 seconds, it seems like that particularly it's going to be Squib Kid with the Kraken that might be the GG special of choice today.
Yeah, they're holding onto that crack, and they know, oh my gosh, they didn't even need it there. They ended up getting a complete wipe, and they said, you know what, I'm going to pop the Kraken as well. I've been saving it.
Might as well add one more to the scoreboard at the end of the day. So kudos to the Reef Runners. They definitely were very challenged in that opening half of the game. You know, they had a lot of complications. GT Gold looked like they were running the show, and ultimately it took them 3 minutes to break through the checkpoint. The first checkpoint, it took 3 minutes, but it was enough, as it didn't take them much more beyond that. A beautifully patient Booyah Bomb was ultimately what got them the extra points they needed to get the lead and put this one out of reach.
They definitely played the patient game, and I always talk about this when I'm commentating, like just having the mental like fortitude and ability to not like panic and be like, okay guys, we still got this, don't worry, we still got this. Because sometimes I myself as a player would crumble under that type of pressure, and they just held on. They ended up, once they got the momentum after getting the lead, they really just held it down very well after that.
Yeah, they did such a good job. You know, even when their backs were against the wall, they knew they were never out of it, and that they were just one good play away from flipping the entire game into their favor. And, you know, speaking of being patient and waiting for your opportunity to flip the game in your favor, Rainmaker Undertow, a map mode where that really is just the entire game.
It really is. This one, man, this one can get so chaotic, but I love watching it as a commentator. You always see just crazy things happening on, I mean, of course, Splatoon, anything crazy can happen, but this map and mode in particular, I feel like I see so many crazy things happen.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I am anticipating here, I do think that Tacos switching to the Mini was the absolute right play. I think that they got so much more leverage and a better foothold of game number 2 with the help of the Mini to provide the extra paint. The hammer got quite a few doubles. So that's one thing that I'm hoping that they kind of stick with, although Reef Runners did catch on by the end of game number 2. But I do think that that is still going to be crucial to some of their pushes here. And Tacos does bring it out, but Inkai matching it in response.
Yeah, I love this. You love a good, mirror when it comes to those type of, quote unquote anchor type players switching over to that. So now we get to see hammers coming out from the other side as well. And as this game starts, 2 members go down on GT Gold, 1 member going down on Reef Runners. There's Tacos with that hammer, using it right away to try and put a stop to this Rainmaker.
Oh, and Tacos does just that and a little bit more. What a cherry on top of that one. That was a beautifully played sequence out of Tacos to stop the Reef Runners' early aggression. And they already have a second hammer? Hammer on hammer. What is this, Rissa?
I don't know. Man, I said I see some crazy things on this map and mode, and the match just started, and we're already seeing craziness happen. Hammer on hammer action, hammer trade. Just, it's already starting out very chaotic, and I'm here for it.
I am so here for it as well, as we are a minute into this one. Reef runners with the... But so far, no one's been able to really get a clear look at that checkpoint. I mean, yes, Reef runners did, but the minute we saw Takas with the hammer, we knew for a fact that they were not going to get that checkpoint. But now, it's Reef runners that opt for the right checkpoint. They do see a blaster in the way, so they're going to actually opt out and rotate left. A good call there, if you ask me. And they are looking to try to progress here. 2 members down on the side of GT Gold, and this finally might be the first checkpoint down.
Yeah, we see them actually, yep, go ahead and get that checkpoint. They did get a complete wipe on their team here, but I mean, getting that checkpoint can be so crucial, especially, you know, if they're going to get that Rainmaker in the game in the future, they're just going to be able to rush past that point, not have to worry about that checkpoint, and get even more points on the board. So GT Gold here, now in control of the Rainmaker. They do have a member down, and they're really having to think about how they want to approach this. They did grab that Rainmaker, so they're thinking, okay, how do we set this up? The longer that they hold it, the more difficult it's going to be, though. As we saw that hammer come out, Reef Runners is going to have time to take space and use their specials into that Rainmaker.
The Rainmaker does go down. Dreamer able to find another pick on top of it. And this will put the Reef Runners in a decent position here. If they actually can find this extra pick here, no, they're not going to be able to do that. But they pick up the Rainmaker anyways. And they're going to go ahead and start pushing this back to where they had left off. They're able to find the checkpoint, but can they find more? Yes, they do, because the blaster behind them goes down. 32 points remaining. That was a very clutch pick from their teammate to open up the pathway. And now Reef Runners have expanded upon this lead.
Ooh, 67. They grab the Rainmaker. They're so close to even dunking it, completely ending the match there, getting the remaining points all the way down to 2. Not quite able to get it. They're members of GT Gold at least putting down paint there on that pedestal to make sure that they weren't able to dunk it. And now they're going to go ahead and reset the Rainmaker, which I think was a smart move for them, because that was getting very, very tricky over there on their side.
They do have the numbers advantage to work with now too, although it is quite the uphill battle that they will now have to traverse, but able to find 2 for 2. Inkai gonna go down as well as they get the jump ins. Someone else underneath them is the roller that has given them trouble all set long. But they are able to finally call them out there. But it's the Reef Runners that pick up the Rainmaker to try to stall this one out. The Reef Runners continue to just be so tricky. All set, they've been pulling off some shenanigans.
They really have. They just, who is that? The Sploosh player, 67? Yes. Yeah, that is like such Sploosh behavior. Just keeping grabbing the Rainmaker, like, I don't know. So, such Sploosh behavior, and it's been working out very well for them. They're just keeping GT Gold on their feet. GT Gold can't even, get a grasp for trying to set up anything with the way that Reef Runners just keeps grabbing the Rainmaker over and over.
Well, at the very least, GT Gold does get the checkpoint off of that push. So that will make any sort of late game push a little bit easier, as they now see an opportunity to go right.
Ooh.
3 members down. They're running up this ramp. Where is the roller? The roller dives in from spawn and able to get it to 10 points remaining. 3 up on GT Gold, make it 3 down and make it a wipe. Reef Runners will survive the late game scare and advance to day number 2 in a sweep of GT Gold.
Wow, that was a fantastic game 3 to watch. It was very chaotic, exactly what I wanted for Rainmaker here. And GT Gold, man, right there at the end, they got so close. They literally got it all the way down to 10 points. That was, it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, we literally have to make something happen, and they definitely did that. But unfortunately for them, with Reef Runners having their score all the way down to 2, that was a very tall hill to climb.
Oh, I mean, I'm so glad we got the replay of this one. That early hammer by Tacos, you felt like it could have defined this game with the way that they stopped it. But the reality was, it was the aggression and just constant nuisance of Reef runners picking up the Rainmaker and holding forward. It's what they did all set long. And when you don't have an answer for a hold forward team like the Reef runners, it just makes it so difficult to, again, get any footing in these games. And GT Gold finally seemed to have a look at it here at the very end, but they just let too many points go earlier in the game to be able to overcome this lead. They had a good look, just couldn't quite get the job done.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Like you said, there was so many points that the other team got that even though they got such a good remaining points left there, they didn't quite get it. It was so close though.
It really was. I was like on the edge of, oh, like this is the hill to die on right now. First of all, choosing to go right, bold choice, but it was also the fastest and most efficient way. So it was kind of like we either win or we lose right now.
Yes, perfectly said. It's like, okay, if we go the left path, we could still get this, but that gives the other team so much time to come out of their spawn, get over the ledges that the map has, and just set up themselves a lot easier. But if we go the right path, we could just end up completely dunking this. However, the other team is just coming freshly out of their spawn, so yeah, definitely a bold move, but it was also in kind of one of those positions where you just had to make a quick decision to see what you could really make happen.
No, you're absolutely correct, because in those types of positions, it really is more of a matter of making sure that the entire team collectively commits to a decision. And GT Gold looked like they were all on the same page. So it just was one of those, we're gonna turn this into a coin toss. It's either gonna happen or it's not. And all we could say is that we put ourselves in the best position possible to try to get there, and I think they did. Reef runners just had the extra benefit of the spawn armor. I think a second difference. If they got that, I almost feel like they couldn't have even moved any faster. Like it's just one of those things that if the Rainmaker maybe was a few points more forward, that could have been the difference maker. But nonetheless, Reef runners gave themselves a little bit of a scare, but they executed. They met their win conditions. They knew exactly what they needed to get done, and they got it done.
Definitely. Whew. All right. That was a great first set for me to watch as a commentator.
Round 4 of this modified. So Reef runners, they do punch their ticket to day number 2. Taking a look at the scores on the side here. We had 6 matches that are going on in this round, as we had already said goodbye to Drexel and UCSD Esports Gold. Las Criaturas and Death Roll advanced in round number 3. Round 4, Reef runners and H-Town Rebels have punched their tickets to day 2. Splatlanders have bowed out of this tournament after losing in a sweep to RIT Orange Ocean. So we still have a number of results coming in. PSU Blue and Daybreak facing each other. They are currently in Game 5. So this is back-to-back Game 5s for Penn State. Meanwhile, Halley and Towson facing off in a Game 5 as well. Towson started this tournament off 0-2, and they are now trying to crawl their way back into this tournament. And they certainly could pull off the big upset against Halley. The loser of that one is out of the tournament.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm looking at the bracket as well on my side as well, just seeing that there's 2 Game 5s happening right now. It's like, ooh, what's gonna happen? I don't know.
Yeah, and that really could alter the entire course of this whole tournament. Between Halley and Towson, these were 2 teams that many thought would be contending in those top 4 in day 2. And
Oh, wow.
now they face each other in round 4, both 1 and 2. So one of these teams is not making it out of this alive.
Wow, this is like, if people were thinking that these were two of the top teams, that's crazy because I'm looking too at the rosters because wasn't too familiar with the names, but seeing the rosters too, I'm like, wow, the rosters themselves definitely show that game 5. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. These are two really strong teams.
Yeah, I mean, Brioche on the side of Arcali, played with Smoothie for a while. Ori on the side of Towson. So there were some big names playing in that matchup there. And I'm looking at that PSU Daybreak matchup. The winner of that one moves on to day 2. PSU should be the favorite going into game number 5. But again, anything goes. It's just the chaos and also the beauty of these early elimination Swiss formats.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, this is super cool. So then now we are waiting to see who we will be watching in round 5 for these final matches for those that are watching. So we'll have to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, so for now, I think we'll go ahead and, wait this one out, see if we can, get these final scores in. We have 3 matches still ongoing on the side of Division 1, and of course there is a bunch more coverage going on Splatoon Tourney and Splatoon Tourney 2. Splatoon Tourney featuring our Div 2 and 4 teams, and Splatoon Tourney 2 featuring Division 3 and 5. So jump on over to those channels if you are so curious about the other divisions. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and be on the edge of our seats watching as the scoreboards update to see what happens in round number 4. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and take our break, and we will be right back with the final round of day 1.
if you let me walk away. Maybe then we'd lose it all. No. Who am I to let you
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right? Full steam through the setbacks. You can't win them all, but I'm proud I tried. Glad we had a dialogue. It's good to shape the mind. Speeding up the pace, turning up the heat. Where I need to be for the first time. I'm taking risks. I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us again here for CCA Swiss. We are on round 5 here for Division 1 on this stream, and we are actually going to see, as we can see at the bottom of the screen, Daybreak versus Towson Tigersharks. DRF, you were telling us a little bit about these two teams and their storylines. You said they both just came off of Game 5 wins.
Yes, both coming off of, Game 5s. Daybreak actually lost Game 5. They were in that 2-1 matchup against Penn State. Lost in a Game 5. And Towson, they had one foot in the grave of this tournament. Like, just straight up. They started out this game, I'm going to say, rather abysmally. And I think they would agree. It was not the start that they were looking for. And it seemed like they were well on their way out the door and out of this tournament, but they have scrapped and clawed their way back. They, in round number 3, took on UCSD, winning that 3-1. And then in the next round, they run into Halley, who was a front runner to finish in the top 4, potential podium team. And they took them out in a Game 5. And Towson, now, I mean, they have so much life in them again. And they see their opportunity to make day 2 when it seemed like it had all but vanished.
That's so awesome. And with both of these teams just coming off of sets that went all the way to Game 5, you can definitely, that just shows you that they're playing, you know, they have their synergy going. They're both warmed up. That's a lot of stressful games to play, probably going all the way to Game 5. So they have to have some momentum off of that, and seeing both of them come into this will be really fun.
Oh boy, I am so excited for this one. Two teams that really have a strong argument to be in day 2. One moves on, the other journey ends here. Diving on in, taking a look at the compositions, we do see Kai coming out with the well string. I think that's kind of the big thing to notice here, but a couple of other interesting weapons as well, Rissa.
We see them having a carbon roller as well, so I have not seen either of these weapons played in competitive in a long time. But again, it's one of those things where, as a viewer, as a commentator, getting to see how these teams play these unique weapons around each other is really fun, and I love learning from that. On the other side, too, looking at their comp, right away that ballpoint stands out to me because it hasn't been played in comp too much, but I love a good ballpoint player. That's one of those weapons where they stick to it and they know how to play it.
Yeah, but Daybreak now, the ones that are in a really good position here. The Inkjet gonna come out to try to put away Towson. Nobody on the tower. Finally, someone's gonna go in and pick this one up. But it is all Daybreak here as they ride to the final checkpoint and look to put the dagger in Towson's heart.
Wow, they are not letting down. They are having 2 members on the tower. They're having jump-ins to the tower as well, just to really solidify that, put the whole entire team on the tower to end up completely KOing that so fast.
Fast was an understatement.
We just blinked and all of a sudden they won.
Yeah, there's no really other way to put it. Daybreak just was a well-oiled machine. They managed to just figure out where everybody was going to be, and found themselves in such good position. And Towson just never had a chance in this first game.
Yeah, Towson, man, that I'm like still processing. That happened so fast that I didn't even really get to comprehend, what happened. I'm sitting here thinking about it, and they were I think a well-oiled machine is a good way to put it. They definitely knew their positions they needed to be in. They knew when to use their specials perfectly. They knew just to jump right back into the action, and that's what, like, all these little minor things that all led up to them being that dominant.
Yeah, I really don't think there's much else we can say about it. The game spoke for itself. And they put Towson on notice, and they said, watch out, because you might have had a pretty strong story coming into this game, but Daybreak is here to break your heart. And I really don't even know what else to say to that. Just absolutely absurd. And these teams, they're not even giving us a chance to blink between games either, Rissa.
I know, they are just readied up. They're like, all right, we're ready. Let's go. And looking at their comps as well, looks like everyone is sticking with the same thing on both sides. So they are confident with the weapons they're playing. They're sticking with it, and they're just gonna have to work around strategies. If you're in particular Towson, they're really just gonna have to figure out how to play those weapons around this team.
Well, at the very least, the Wellstring does have a more sturdy place in this map mode, because particularly Rainmaker and just how fast it's going to be able to pop that barrier. So I do think that the Wellstring sticking around is going to be much to Towson's benefit.
Yes, definitely. Going to be able to use that over the ledges and really utilize the range that has as well. Towson, they are now the team that is dominant in this game too. They are grabbing the Rainmaker. They got it through that first checkpoint, and they grabbed it again. Now they're the team that is holding space, and look at this, grabbing that Rainmaker again, trying to get through that drop. Didn't quite get down the drop, but they still have their points all the way down to 30, and they're doing a good job at holding the space that they have in the other team's street here.
Finally, Towson's gonna be pushed back into mid. Breakdown is the one that picks up the Rainmaker, trying to reset it. They do have the numbers advantage now, but Kai doing everything they can to try to slow this down, but Plant's the one that's in position, able to find that pick with that Carbon Deco, and now looking for more, able to barely just grab like the ear of that second player, not enough to take him out. But nonetheless, Towson continues to be the aggressors. They hold this position strong, and Ori's what?
That flick of the slosher, able to just go up and take down that splashdown. Did get taken out there, but whoa! And Ori, look at that. Ori's already right back in the action. Okay, as I was processing that, here goes Daybreak. They are now going to grab the Rainmaker, get it through that first checkpoint, and now let's see if they're able to hold space in the other team's street. This time, it looks like they're doing a good job. They're continuing to take down members of the other team. They're using their specials here to try and push back the other team as they come out of their spawn as well.
And Towson holds on for dear life. They maintain the lead. They get to the lead. White Big Noob has someone. Yeah, yes, they do. Manages to take them out. An excellent stop there by Towson. Things got really scary for them for a moment there, Rissa. I thought for sure Daybreak was going to flip the lead back in their favor, but Towson holds on, and it looks like they're going for set. They have a couple specials online as well, and it looks like there's actually gonna be a lot of specials to work with in this next team fight.
Yes, we see these strikes get ready for Ori here as Ori is starting to push into this bunker. Breakdown there, grab that Rainmaker. I don't know if they meant to grab that necessarily because mid is so blue right now. So Rainmaker though now in mid still as we see Kai grab the Rainmaker, and mid is very blue. Towson has been doing a great job at keeping paint on the board for their team, and just that is allowing them to have so much space to move this Rainmaker and continue to grab it.
Oh, Breaking Bad able to come up with triple, and the team gets the wipe out. This should assuredly be the lead swap for Daybreak, and they do. 5 more points on the board, get them the 3-point lead, and Towson a minute and a half to figure out how to respond.
Yeah, they still have a minute at least, so if they can hold it together, that lead is definitely attainable for them, and they've just been doing a good job throughout this entire match. So you know, it's going to be one of those moments where don't crack under the pressure of knowing that you need to get the lead. There's only a minute left of the match. If they can hold it together, they can definitely make something happen. It looks like they're going to start trying to do that as that cooler comes out, and going to utilize that quick respawn in case members go down as they try and take mid.
Oh, that hammer just a little bit offline there. Not able to find any value, but the rest of the team still moving about, able to take out that tri-slosher. Plant now trying to make a move, see if they can find this Rainmaker. Yes, they do, but they pay with their life. And that is the wipeout. Daybreak now in position to just hold this Rainmaker. They're not going to pop this barrier. They have no reason to. Towson's the one that needs to make the play.
That is... Oh, we can see Towson here. They know that Rainmaker's over there on the right side. Ori here trying to get over towards the Rainmaker. They know we need to get that Rainmaker in our hands, but it is being guarded so well by Daybreak here. They waited to pop that Rainmaker at the last possible second, and then they just kept guarding that area, and that worked out beautifully for Daybreak. Once they got the upper hand in that match, they had the momentum there and really held on to it there towards the end.
Wow. I mean, a great game here in game number 2. Definitely much closer than what we had seen in game 1. As Towson really had a good look. They had control of most of this game, and it's just untimely wipeouts that really swing Rainmaker games. And Daybreak capitalized on it perfectly. To be honest, I don't even think Daybreak ever got truly wiped either, which helped them make sure that the game never got out of hand when Towson was in control during the first.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Even though Towson really started out really strong, Daybreak continued to have members online and just continue to have space, at least on the map, just to continue to try and make something happen. And eventually it paid off for them very well.
Yeah, it certainly did. So Daybreak now up 2-0 in the set. It is a best of 5, so that does mean that Daybreak is at match point. They are on qualifying point. So if they can pull out one of these next 3 games, they are moving on to day number 2. Towson Tigersharks, not out of it yet though. They do need a reverse sweep in order to keep their tournament hopes alive, but they have to just take it one game at a time. So can't really get ahead of yourself yet. Clamblitz Inkblot Art Academy is where everyone's focus turns towards now.
Ooh, I don't get to see this played a lot in competitive, but I'm an enjoyer of Clamblitz Inkblot Art Academy, so I'm excited to see this one.
I love Clamblitz Inkblot. It's just so much fun, especially with, the times that folks are able to take the rail, get behind basket, and then just all chaos breaks loose. There's just so many fun and unique ways to try to approach the basket. It's so close to mid too that things can just flip-flop all game long. So I'm really excited to see how this one goes, especially if that Carbon Deco sticks around. I think that is going to be the thing to watch out for from Towson Tigersharks, and that could be the key to them getting back in this set.
Yeah, good point to bring up, definitely. That's going to be able to hang under those ledges and just create a lot of havoc for their team if they can play off of that, which it seemed like in that last game they started getting the momentum to play off of it. So this one, definitely for them, hopefully able to continue that momentum into this game 3. And looking at these comps as well, I don't think there's any switch-ups that I can see. It looks like everyone is sticking with the same weapons that they were playing in the last 2 games.
Yeah, that seems to be the case here, as so far it's Towson that is on the back foot early, and the hammer has to come out from Kai, but it's going to clip the wall, not able to find any value, but Kai's bow, on the other hand, able to slow down the advancement of Daybreak's offense, and Kai again comes up with another big pick. The rest of the team trying to just get themselves back in this game. Ori able to find another pick. So it's Daybreak aggressive early, but Towson's defense is holding strong.
Yeah, they definitely, it almost seems like Towson recognized that Daybreak just starts out very explosive, and Towson has recognized that. They're staying back and they're saying, okay, we don't need to rush anything. Let's just let Daybreak come into us initially. That's exactly what happened there, and like you said, their defense there was really, really great, and now has allowed them to be the team now that is coming into mid and setting themselves up for a push.
They are now holding on to Stack. The Inkjet trying to hold back Towson, but they fall right into Plant's arms. Plant's not able to secure the pick, and Windbreak actually finds themselves now trying to pick off Ori here on the Slosher. Ori's not able to find anything in return either, but Ori is in position here for a potential aggressive push. They do have the trip strikes, but they're gonna be met with the Reef Slider, who takes them out, but Plant is there to help get some revenge. And Rissa, we are 2 minutes into this one, and we're at a pure stalemate.
We are. This is it's so back and forth. You know, one team will start slowly inch up a little bit, get space. You think maybe something's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden the other team just jumps onto them, and it's like so back and forth of that same thing coming out from each team. So I feel like, you know, mid is blue 1 minute, and then it's orange, and then it's blue, and it just keeps going back and forth, and I really don't know what's gonna happen.
Ori gonna be camping here. Ori might have an option. Picks, not able to find either of them though, and it's actually Daybreak that sneaks in. I think with the Reef Slider, they were able to get that power clam, plus another handful of clams in here as well, to +5 for Daybreak to break open this game. Almost 3 minutes into this one, so it took half the game for us to get the first score, and now it's Towson that has the pressure on them to figure out what on earth they can do with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, it seems like Towson, they do a good job at getting mid, and it seems like they've been doing a great job at consistently having it, but they just can't quite break past mid. Daybreak is not only, you know, playing really good defense, but they were also able to work around Towson holding mid and get that score in. So Towson's just really gonna have to make sure they have eyes on all the members of Daybreak if they want to make anything happen.
Minute and a half to go. Inkjet out once again. Daybreak, they're not going to settle for 65 points remaining. They have clams to work with. The Reef Slider plus the jump out combo, absolutely lethal here. But they're not enough to get into position to score again, as they are going 2 down. Towson is starting to move up now. They know that their tournament lives are on the line, and they need to make a big play, but they have to be smart about it. Ori gonna do just that. Jump back out into a more safe position in mid. Hammer is being thrown. Ori once again now trying to move up here. Trip strikes almost at the ready. It's gonna coming through here. It's not going to be the splashdown, but the blaster itself that finds the pick on the zap.
Man, Daybreak is not letting Towson come into this basket at all. Towson is trying to poke at every angle that they can, but every member from Daybreak is having all eyes on everything that Towson is doing. And now, not only playing defense, but here goes Daybreak pushing forward. They're coolered up. There is that Inkjet out as well. Let's see if maybe they're going to actually try and score again. They are now the team that has mid, and Towson has to make something happen here, as maybe we can potentially head into overtime.
2 down on the side of Towson. This might be the swan song for Towson. Wow, they just even threw the power clamp back. They aren't even interested in trying to force the score here. But no, actually, it's all part of the plan, Rissa. They jump in with the Reef Slider plus the wipeout. Daybreak moves on to day 2.
Wow. That was they were already winning that. They could I feel like they could have just probably walked in there and scored that, but they're like, "Nah, I need to use my Reef Slider. I need some style points here at the end as we totally win this."
My goodness, what a setup here to punch their ticket to day 2 of the circuit finals. Towson had the story. It felt like they had the plot armor going into this one, but Daybreak crushes their hearts and in just thrilling fashion move on to day number 2. I mean, you can't get much better than that.
Yeah, that was awesome. Daybreak was definitely on fire there. They were playing so well. They were very explosive, but like, I don't know, they were playing really well today. They're definitely seeing them go into game 2, I think will be really neat.
Yes, I am definitely going to be looking forward to watching them play, especially as you look at the scoreboard. They took Penn State to a game 5. You know, Penn State being one of those teams that a lot of folks are expecting to finish in podium position. and Daybreak was able to hang with them. They've been right there on the cusp of taking that next big step. And I think the way that they delivered the knockout blow to Towson here today really shows that they're going to be a team to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, they definitely had a lot of team synergy. They knew how to play around each other. They looks like too, with the way they just kept locking in their weapons right away. They know exactly how to play around each other's weapons, and just having that type of team synergy will definitely do them good in day two. Sorry.
Well, speaking of day 2, we are done with day number 1. Day number 2 kicks off tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, with our top 8 teams. Taking a look at Div 1, we still have a couple of ongoing matches, so that was the first one to finish within this final round, but we so far know that we will be seeing Death Roll, Las Crituras, Reef Runners, H-Town Rebels, PSU Blue, and of course, Daybreak, who just completed the 3-0 sweep on the Towson Tigersharks. We're still waiting on the result of GT Gold versus RIT Orange Ocean, and USF Gold versus Ansu Scarlet. So one of those teams from each of those matches is going to be joining our 6 finalists so far. So definitely keep an eye out on sendu.inc for all of those results. But, oh, perfect. Wow, thank you, Neptune. Oh, this is why
Beautiful.
You're the best producer. So that is the current outlook right now on the on day 1 modified Swiss. So there you can take a look at the teams that have so far been eliminated. We thank them so much for playing. Towson, Splatlanders, Halley, MSU, Drexel, and UCSD. Just wasn't your day today, but I'm sure we will see you back for the league, and we'll be excited to see you, hopefully deliver some greatness there too.
Wow. This has been, a treat to watch. And I think I was looking at the bracket. It's funny that both of the other matches ongoing right now that are waiting in Div 1, they're both 1-1. So, man, they must be... It's kind of like that's like what happened last round. The ones we were waiting on, the scores were tied as well.
Right matches. Oh, darn it.
Dang it.
Oh, it's okay. They delivered a show in their own way. Unfortunately, it just doesn't mean that we get as many games to commentate over. But nonetheless, I'm sure it will be an exciting finish for the remaining teams in Div 1 and for the remaining teams in every other division. So, but Rissa, thank you so much for joining us today to cover day 1 of the CCA Circuit Finals. Please go ahead and plug yourself. Where can the people of our chat find you?
Thank you for having me, first of all. And they can find me, as you can see there on the screen, Rissa High on Blue Sky, X, Twitch, and YouTube. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And as for myself, you can go and find me on Blue Sky DRF-Splatoon, Twitch Triton DRF, but per usual, you can find me right here on the CCA channel covering all things Collegiate Splatoon. Thank you all so much for watching day number 1 of the Circuit Finals. Be back here tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, for the thrilling conclusion of CCA Circuit Season 2. We'll see you then.